Assalamualaikum and good morning. Today I will talk about introduction of history activity-based costing as known as ABC. First of all, ABC is a modern and more refined costing method that help organization allocate overhead and indirect costs with greater accuracy. It emerged in the 1980 as a response to the growing complexity of business operation, especially in manufacturing environment where traditional costing methods fail to reflect the true cost of producing a diverse range of products. Next slide, I will talk about traditional costing system before ABC. Traditional costing mostly use traditional costing method that's allocated overhead using a single cost driver like labor hours or machine hours. This approach occurred in the early 20th century when labor costs were high and overheads were low, but as automation increased, overheads grew and labor became a smaller cost component. Secondly is image of ABC in the 1980. In the 1980, ABC was developed by Robert Kaplan and Robin Cooper at Harvard Business School. They argue that traditional costing distorted product costs, especially in companies with diverse products or complex processes. ABC addressed this by linking costs to activities and then to products using multiple cost drivers. Lastly, I will talk about evolution and adoption ABC. This gained popularity in the 1990, especially in manufacturing, healthcare, and service industries. Companies like John Deere, Hewlett-Packard, and IBM adopted ABC to improve decision-making and cost control. It was seen as a strategic tool for identifying profitable products, reducing waste, and improving efficiency.
Hi everyone, my name is Han Irsarina binti Abdul Bazi and my metric number is 307145. So now, I will present to you guys about ABC Hype Cycle. The Hype Cycle is a graphic representation of the maturity, adoption, and business application of a technology. It reflects difference in humans' attitudes to the technology. This cycle shows an increasement in knowledge and a decrease in risk. At the early stages of the cycle, there is limited practical knowledge about technology, and as time goes on, organizations begin to adopt it effectively. ABC Hype Cycle have 6 phases of evaluation. First one is technology trigger, 1984 until 1987. Second one, peak of inflected expectation, 1987 until 1991. Third one is true of disillusionment, 1991 until 1995. The fourth one is law of enlightenment, 1995 until 2000. The fifth one is the plateau of productivity, 2000 until 2006. And the last one is the post-plateau phase, 2006 until present.
Good evening, my name is Sofia Widadi Bekti Muhammad Yazid. My metric number is 307143. I will be explaining about the 6 stages of development of ABC. We can relate this to the technology that's going through R&D by the time goes by. Okay. So, the first one, which is the trigger of ABC, it started when the Western company claims that the Japanese company emerged into the automotive and electronic industry that leads to the unfair competition. So, this also generate such a low wage labor, and then some innovative companies decided for their engineers to design the complexity product to deduct the wages. This is when the cost was allocated based on common parts, and then this shown that the success of early capability of ABC method. Okay, so we are going through the second one, which is the first generation. This is when the production company start to write article about ABC method, and it start to gain more potential users. Some consulting firms rapidly bought ABC practices, and the very first commercial ABC was introduced. It is a software, ABC software was introduced in the 1990s. They are moved from the traditional method to this method because ABC has the ability to offer significant insight into profitability improvement. This is when the true value of ABC shown with its capacity to drive changes. There is also struggles faced by ABC, which is critics to the ABC when it is brought by media over its confusion method, which is the first one, limitation in the supporting system, and the second one, difficulty with sustainability, and more others publicized failure. And then there is a common argument if it was an inconsistency of ABC to measure a short-term impact in decision towards the operating cost and inventory. This is a stage where ABC was not yet mature and stable. There goes the second generation. In this time, they initially focused on the correcting overhead allocation error in product. ABC application clearly expanded beyond traditional cost accounting, and then ABC starts to grow outside of accounting scope, which is administration, sales, marketing, R&D, supply chain, and logistics. The government agency and the military also adopted ABC to manage budget pressure. A significant development was the addition of predictive modeling to ABC, extending its use from historical costing to resource and capacity planning and scenario analysis, thus providing actual basis for budgetary cost estimation and decision making. Following with the third generation, which is a new evidence of financial benefit, the beginning of a new generation of enterprise ABC method and software. The use of internet and business intelligence, which is BI system, to report the current ABC information. New method emerged that significantly reduced the cost and effort of implementing and maintaining ABC system. This include the web-based service, time-based algorithm to measure complexity, and the use of extracts, transform, and load technology to integrate ABC with the various data sources. A crucial lesson from this period was the profound impact of technology development and cumulative learning on ABC cost-benefit equation, enhance functionality, and reduce cost equation. This is often entirely new application for ABC, encouraging early adopters to revisit the method. Lastly, the last generation, which is in 2006 until now present. ABC starts to be essential component to use in the new generation of business management solution until now. ABC information begins to include in more scopes, just like shown in the figure 2.0. So, there is 5 information related, which is the first one, profitability management, and the second one, performance management, the third one, financial plan, the fourth is human capital management, and the last one, which is the sustainability. That's all from me. Thank you.
Good morning everyone, I'm Muhammad Mushid bin Rostan, and I will be covering the third part of our presentation, the evolution of activity-based costing or ABC, including how it spread into different sectors and the early tools used to implement it. After ABC was first introduced in the 1980s, it was launched for its use expanded beyond just manufacturing. Originally, it had company gets a clearer picture of product costs, especially in factory with complex operation and high indirect costs. But by the 1980s and early 2000s, ABC started being adopted in logistics and supply chains, healthcare system, financial service, and even government and education sector. Why? Because this sector needed a better way to manage overhead and indirect costs at the time, and the ABC provided a much more accurate way to trace those costs based on real activities. A very interesting study by Kalukin and Silvola in 2008 found that the life cycle stage of a company play a big role in whether they adopt ABC. They discovered that mature and revival stage firms are much more likely to use ABC than other stage like growth stage company. The reason behind this are because first, the mature firm usually have a more complex operation. Second, they deal with many products or services. And third, they face pressure to be more cost efficient and competitive. So this company needs tools like ABC to understand what's driving their costs and how to improve their decision making. Now, let's talk about the tool used in early ABC system. When ABC first come out, there were no ready-made software system nowadays such as SAP and NetSuite. So, companies had to conduct interview and survey with each line employees, track time manually on daily basis, and use actual spreadsheet to calculate activity costs. While it worked, it was very time-consuming and hard to maintain, especially when things in company changed. So even though ABC was powerful, these challenges limited its long-term use and caused many companies to drop it later. However, not all was lost. As company got better at using ABC data, it's evolved into something called Activity-Based Management or ABM. This is where ABC wasn't just used to track costs, it was used to improve strategy. For example, ABM had company in 4 things. First, identify and remove non-value added activity like idle time, excess material and defects, improve pricing and product mix, and last, make a decision based on customer profitability. So this period of expansion really set the foundation for more strategic management tools in the future. To sum up, ABC evolved quickly during the 1980s and early 2000s. It moved beyond manufacturing into many other sectors and became a bigger part of management approach like ABM. But it also faced practical challenges, especially around data collection and system maintenance. This challenge eventually led to a new method, time-driven ABC, which my next teammate will explain next. Thank you.
Activity-based costing has emerged as an improvement to the traditional cost accounting system, offering advantages in the allocation of manufacturing overhead costs by focusing on the actual tasks or activities that cause this cost to happen. Activity-based costing was developed because traditional cost accounting system had weaknesses. The system typically allocated manufacturing overhead costs primarily using machine hours, which often lead to distorted and inaccurate cost representations. Companies with high overhead costs that did not directly match production volumes, or those with many different product ranges and varied customer demands, require a better method for indirect cost allocation. As a result, the concept of ABC was created to provide a more accurate and logical foundation for assigning costs to activities that consume resources. ABC relies on 2 distinct types of activity measures, which is transaction drivers and duration drivers. Transaction drivers measures the number of times an activity occurs, while duration drivers record the time taken to complete the activity. By using these 2 measures, ABC moves away from traditional volume-based cost allocation methods. This allows it to more accurately link indirect costs to the varying levels of activity required by different products or services. Activity-based costing plays a significant role in shaping business strategy, primarily through its influence on pricing and decision-making. By offering a detailed understanding of product costs, ABC enables companies to make strategic pricing and cost management decisions based on true value and resource allocation, ultimately unlocking competitive advantages. Activity-based costing offers several benefits to organizations while also presenting certain limitations. One of the prominent benefits of ABC is the increased accuracy in the allocation of indirect costs, providing better insights into the relationship between overhead costs and the activities causing them. Despite that, the methodology presents some challenges. One of the key critics often leveled against ABC is the complexity inherent in implementing and maintaining the system, which may pose a barrier for smaller businesses or those with limited resources. Another challenge lies is the potential for inaccuracies if cost drivers are not correctly identified or applied. This can lead to distorted cost allocation that do not accurately represent the underlying cost structures and causations. The solution to the problems with ABC is not to abandon the concept. After all, ABC has helped many companies find important cost and profit enhancement opportunities. Fortunately, simplification is now possible through an approach that we call time-driven ABC. TDABC was first introduced at Harvard Business School in 2004 by Kaplan and Anderson and was built on the basic principles of activity-based costing. ABC does provide a costing strategy, but is complicated, resource-consuming, and not always precise. This is particularly true because traditional ABC models rely on employee surveys to estimate time spent on an activity. TDABC is different because it directly estimates the resource demands incurred by each transaction or process. Over the past 15 years, activity-based costing has helped managers understand that not all revenue is good revenue and not all customers are profitable customers. Unfortunately, the difficulties of implementing and maintaining traditional ABC system have stopped from being used widely. Time-driven ABC has overcome these difficulties. It offers a transparent, scalable methodology that is easy to implement and update. It uses existing databases to include specific features for particular orders, processes, suppliers, and customers. Now, activity-based costing is no longer a complex, expensive financial system implementation. The time-driven ABC innovation provides managers with meaningful cost and profitability information quickly and inexpensively.
Now that we understand how ABC works and how it is important, now let's take a closer look of one of its core components, which is the level of activity. There is a 5 level of activity and it helps ABC break down costs in a more accurate. So the first one is unit level, which is done per unit. The costs allocated at this level are depending on the number of units produced. These costs are typically variable or mixed, which is variable plus fixed costs. The second one is batch level. At the batch level, regardless of the number of units in the batch, activities are carried out every time a batch is processed. These costs also tend to be variable or mixed. The third one is the product level, where it usually includes activities related to specific product, such as product design and advertising. Since companies offer many different products, costs assigned at the product level are available to managers. Companies should assign these costs based on the number and complexity of the products they offer because of the variance in the amount of materials, labor, overhead each product type used. The fourth one is customer level, which activities are related to serving specific customers, and business must create cost pool at this level to keep the customers. Example of customer level activities include customer entertainment, handling customer service calls, and dispatching catalogs. The costs associated with these activities are generally fixed costs, and business would have difficulty without this cost for searching customers. And the last one is business sustaining costs. Business sustaining costs are essential for the overall operation of the business but cannot be directly traced to individual products or services. Managers must be careful decide which of these costs should be allocated to manufacturing overhead. Common examples include factory rent, managerial salaries, depreciation, and security guard wages. These are typically common costs, and these levels are fixed and variable components. Activity-based costing (ABC) initially gained attention as a powerful tool for profit analysis. By the late 1990s, it had been widely adopted across various industries and government sectors due to its ability to provide more accurate cost insight. Today, ABC has evolved into a foundational component of performance management, such as customer profitability analysis, budgeting, planning, strategic decision-making, and more. This evaluation is a result of years of development and continuous learning. Understanding how ABC has progressed over time highlights the opportunities it creates for organizations to enhance value and improve performance. In conclusion, the goal of ABC is to optimizing business activity and process to enhance efficiency and reduce costs. ABC have many advantages such as more accurate indirect cost allocation, link overhead costs to real activity costs, and support better profitability analysis. However, ABC also has disadvantages, which is ABC isn't always effective, might need a lot of time to collect data, and collecting information has its own cost. Although ABC is somehow difficult to use it, but it has a long-term benefits. That's all from us. Thank you.